on the hunt for a killer.
They are not a static part. I would shoot the son of a on sight.
It's quite scary.
One in nightmare.
There's going to be some update on this search for Billy Boyette and Mary Rice. But again, you'll remember that this all started 1 week ago today with the murders of two women in Milton. Alicia Greer and Jacqueline Moore were the first two victims in this case. Now, we spoke with the family of Alicia Greer. Her father says Greer began dating Boyette last November, and then 10 days before she was killed, he says Boyette beat her so badly she ended up in the hospital. And her father says he regrets not having done something about Boyette back then.
I wish I would have shot him that week. I would have gladly went to jail or went to the I'd put a needle in my arm today if she was still alive. Because I would shoot the son of a on sight. I don't care if you edit that, you can bleep it out, you can do whatever you want. But I would shoot him on sight right now.
So we've made it to the Black Water Inn. It was in one of these rooms that he left her for dead. The Emerald Sands Inn Motel. This is the hotel room. And it looks like they may be doing some construction, and believe it or not, the police are here. And I'm going to act like I'm just talking on the phone because they're fixing to walk right by in just a few minutes. This is where, at the Emerald Sands Inn, that two women were murdered by Billy Boyette. First door right there, 106, that I believe the women were murdered. This is how close the girls' rooms were to the office, where they were found, and the lady called 911.
This was the scene a little more than a week ago at the Emerald Sands Inn. A hotel employee got a report of gunshots and called 911.
And all I did was put the key in the door, open the door, and I see her laying halfway in the bathroom, him laying in the bed, and everything's covered in blood. Are they dead? I don't know them. I didn't walk in. Did they look dead to you? Yes, ma'am. They look dead.
The employee recounting the scene where Alicia Greer and a second woman, Jacqueline Moore, lost their lives.
This is the Dollar General that Mary Rice worked at. And when she went on her killing spree along with Billy Boyette, a lot of people don't believe that she went willingly, and that's to be debated, but she didn't show up for work here one day. She just up and quit, and that's who she was with.
It's a nightmare for investigators and the public. The longer a chase goes on, eventually it comes to an end.
Breaking news tonight. Mary Rice now in the custody of the Troup County Sheriff's Office.
Cops everywhere out here. William Boyette is believed to have died of a subsequent gunshot.
The first thing was relief.
Because in a hunt this large, every agency in the country is watching. And that's something you can't escape for very long.
The show claims that Mary met Billy while visiting her brother in jail, but that is only half true. Mary was introduced to Billy through a friend, not her brother. Her friend's boyfriend was incarcerated at the time, and she is the one that took Mary to visit at the request of her boyfriend, who wanted the two to meet. Here's a clip of Mary's friend testifying in court about how they met.
How long have you known Mary Rice?
Half my life.
Okay. I'm going to direct your attention to a time frame sometime in maybe September, October 2016. Do you remember going to the jail with Mary Rice?
Yes, sir.
Were you there with Mary at the jail?
I was visiting a boyfriend at the time.
Why was Mary along?
He wanted to introduce Mary and Billy to each other.
Okay.
Mary and Billy began writing letters back and forth while he was in jail, and it was at this time she most likely began to form a relationship with him. The two would finally meet in person after his release in October of 2016 and would remain in contact as well as maintain a relationship, whereas to him, it was probably more of a casual affair, or as some would say, friends with benefits. Of course, Mary probably wanted more from Billy, but because of her introverted personality type and the fact she suffered from low self-esteem, whatever Billy did in his personal life didn't matter to her. Even if he started seeing other people, she would submit to anything he requested if it meant that it would keep him around. I don't think Billy ever intended to be in an exclusive relationship with her, but by now, he knew that her feelings ran deep enough for him that he could use her as any means to an end, if need be. By now, he was well aware that she would jump through hoops for him and that her loyalty was strong. Basically, he used and manipulated Mary, but in her mind, he was showing her attention. So whatever he requested, not only was she happy to oblige, but it made her feel good to know she pleased him. Here are some of the text messages the two wrote between one another that were presented in court.
Okay, and will you read it, please?
The message says, well, hello there, stranger. I finally made it out. The fresh air is quite nice. I hope this finds you and yours doing well. How's life been treating you? Look forward to hearing back from you. Until then, respects, Billy. This is messages between Mr. Boyette and Ms. Rice.
Okay, and the top message that's highlighted, what is the date?
The date on that is October 16th, 2016.
And that is to Mary Rice, correct?
Yes, I was sent by William Boyette to Mary Rice. Happy Thanksgiving, beautiful. I'm single, by the way. What's up?
What's the next message?
Can you handle a little pressure? After that, it just says LOL. The very top message is from William Boyette to Mary Rice, and I apologize, there's some profanity in here, but it says, I'm talking about taking this dick. That's the pressure.
All right, next.
Mary Rice replies, haha, I do need some. Maybe that's why I am ready to kill everyone. Mary Rice again says, can you handle me now? Is the upside down question mark. Mary Rice still typing, says, see and nothing, you know where I stay.
Next.
Again from Mary Rice, it says, I think you scared, get up with me, single man.
Regardless of the fact he was in relationships with other women, she knew about his violent history with them. He wreaked havoc in their lives, abusing them and terrifying them. Billy had but this didn't matter to Mary. Charges from his past criminal history and a record stemming from drug trafficking, battery and resisting arrest, probation violation, several charges of aggravated assault, battery, obstructing justice, and even one for kidnapping and false imprisonment in which he stabbed a girlfriend several times while holding her hostage. His own brother spoke out about how Billy, from a young age, was already a problem child, that he did horrendous things that a normal kid just wouldn't do. And he speaks out about this, including the girlfriend he nearly stabbed to death and held hostage. However, she became so terrified of what he might do to her, she dropped the charges, and he faced no responsibility for this crime.
4 years old, picks up a ball peen hammer and knocks the dog out. 13, he raped, I guess they were in junior high. I guess they were at a party, a girl, and he ended up at some boys camp or whatever it was. He spent like 6 or whatever months in the boys camp up in Massachusetts. Blamed my mother for not coming up with $25,000 for his legal expenses so he wouldn't have to go to jail. Everything is always somebody else's fault. Somebody made him do it. He's never admitted to doing nothing wrong. And he's a jailhouse lawyer. He knows everything. I couldn't believe the last time he stabbed up the girl, and I figured he's gone. You know, the federal judge said, I'll see you in here again. You're gone for the rest of your life. But they couldn't get her because she was a criminal, and so they couldn't prosecute him, even though they had the police there, crime scene photos of blood everywhere at my parents' house. Stab holes through the wall, like 50 of them. This man, when he sees this, I'm a target. When he sees this, he's going to come after me.
Disturbing new details tonight about Kayla Crocker's final moments before she was murdered allegedly by Billy Boyette and Mary Rice. Kayla's uncle says the attack on his niece was brutal and says Kayla was killed in front of her toddler.
Kayla's uncle says the attack on her niece was brutal and says Kayla was killed in front of her toddler. According to Kayla Crocker's uncle, Kayla was shot and left to die in front of her 2-year-old son's crib.
She was shot in front of the baby. We don't know if the baby was awake or sleeping. That's something we'll never know. We do know that they took her into the nursery and shot her in the nursery.
The attack was brutal.
There was evil in those two, and it came out.
Crocker says Billy Boyette and Mary Rice tied up Kayla and possibly pulled her into the nursery by her hair before shooting her because clumps of Kayla's hair were missing.
Been through some things in my life, and this is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever been.
The manhunt for a triple murder suspect and his alleged accomplice is over. Billy Boyette Jr. is dead and Mary Rice is in custody. Police tracked the couple to a motel in West Point, Georgia, where Boyette killed himself and police arrested Rice. Roseanne, it's amazing that this thing has ended after weeks of searching for them. Billy Boyette, Mary is dead. Mary Rice is in custody. And it all happened here. I'm going to step out of the picture and let you see the hotel. You can see the crime scene tape around that motel room. And if you look over to the left, you'll see that white car. That's the Chevy Cobalt that was taken from the Beulah residence just yesterday. Just talked to the sheriff just a moment ago, James Woodruff, and he told us that Mary Rice actually checked into this motel last night, and that someone recognized the vehicle and called police. And that's that whole see it, you say it kind of stuff.